Hi everyone, I'm back with another video today. Today I'm going to be making a card with the Craftin Desert Divas Snow Happy stamp set. Here's a look at all the supplies that I used on my card today. So if you have any questions about what products I might be using or die sets I might be using, you can come back here and reference this list. So I'm starting off with a lot of die cutting. I am using the largest circle in the inside scalloped circles die set. This is a tight fit on an A2 card front, which is what I have right here. White cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I am centering that in the top center of that panel, and I want to make sure that that is pretty well perfect in there because it is such a tight fit. Now for my next die, I'm using this tree die, which is from the Outdoor Landscape 2 die set. I'll be cutting that from brown cardstock 3 times. For my next die, I'm going to be using the mountains from the Scene Builder die set, and I've got a piece of scrap gray cardstock that I'm going to be cutting those from. I like to use up all of my scraps, so you'll see a lot of that here. Next up, I've got the cloud from that Scene Builder die set, and also the tops of the mountains from that same die set as well. I'm going to be cutting the tops of those mountains, and then the cloud I'll go ahead and cut 3 separate times, and those are going to be all from white cardstock. Next, I am going to go ahead and continue cutting that cloud, but to get as much as I can through one run through, I'm going to go ahead and take that little bush die from the Scene Builder die set and cut that from some green cardstock as well. Now once I had the 3 bushes cut that I wanted cut and the 3 clouds, I'm going to use that scrap piece of green cardstock, the very bottom of that, to cut this grass border that's also from the Outdoor Landscape 2 die set. Now that is all of my dies that I'm going to be using today and my die cuts. That was pretty quick and easy. This is going to be a smaller scene, so I didn't need quite as many. Now on an A2 card base that I have here, this is a top folding card base, I'm going to go ahead and trace that panel, that circle that I created. Now the great thing about those circle dies that I used is they have stitching not only on that frame that I've created, but also on the outside cut line as well. So I've got matching stitching on both of those, and that's great because I'll be using both of them today to do some die cut inlay. So I traced out that circle panel, so I had a good idea of where I needed to place everything on that panel to make my scene. The first thing I wanted to do though was add some color to my sky. So I'm using some Salty Ocean Distress ink and my mini ink blender to just quickly blend that on. It doesn't need to be perfect here. The majority of it is going to be covered anyway. I just wanted that little bit of blue to peek through. Then I moved on to adding a little bit of distress ink to all of my die cuts. Now I kept this pretty simple. On all of my green cardstock die cuts, I'm using mowed lawn and just going over the edges. This is going to be a forest scene, so I wanted those nice dark shadows. I don't always do this on my scenes, but for this one, I thought it would be nice to do this extra step. On the mountains, I used hickory smoke to match that gray, and then I got a little bit of walnut stain out to go on each one of those trees. Just be careful when doing anything with those little bitty fragile limbs that are on those trees. They want to kind of bend up whenever you put any distress ink, as well as the grassy border, so just take a lighter touch with those. Then it was time to start putting together my scene. I am using glossy accents and my quick sticks tool to do this. You can use any kind of liquid glue. I would just highly suggest using a liquid glue here. You've got that little bit of playtime to move pieces around, and it also doesn't add so much bulk whenever you use a liquid glue as opposed to like a tape runner or something. So I started off with the mountains since they're going to be in the very background. I added my snow caps onto those, and then I'm coming in and adding those 3 bushes. So I put my 2 on the outside first, and then I'll fill in the center with that one last one just to kind of make it be front and center. Now next up will be my trees. I'm adding 3 of these. These are going to be a little long, and this scene is going to look pretty horrible until I put over that frame. But I didn't want to worry about making everything really circular here or making sure everything fit within that circle. I just wanted to get it on that card base because the rest of it's going to be covered up. Now this tree did hang off a little bit, so I just trimmed off the top of that. and just made sure the rest of it was in that frame that I had drawn out with pencil lines. Now finally was that grassy border. I added some glossy accents to the back of it and placed that right on the bottom. Once I overlaid that frame, you could see everything fit together really nicely. I did go ahead and add some dimensional fun foam with double-sided adhesive on the back of it. You could use foam tape. Then I will just overlay that right onto the card base, and that is going to frame out my scene pretty perfectly. And the parts it didn't, I'm going to go ahead and cover up with this next little frame that I want to put right into place. This is the same one that I die cut, so it inlays perfectly, and I added little bits of fun foam to the back of it as well. Now for my stamping, I am using this cute little troll that's sleeping on a mushroom. This is from the Snow Happy stamp set. Now, this I colored up, as well as this little mushroom with the candle on it. I colored those over on my Instagram. I'm throwing all of my coloring videos over there during the new release. So if you want to see the coloring of these little guys, you can head over there. That link is always on my blog, and it's always in the description box on YouTube. I added that with some dimensional adhesive. I added the little mushroom in the bottom left-hand corner. Then to kind of pull in that mushroom that's kind of outside the scene, I added those 3 little clouds on top of the frame, and I put those outside the scene as well to kind of draw the eye outward towards the rest of the card. To finish this off, I added the Snow Happy sentiment on a flag banner with some more dimensional adhesive, and that finished off the scene for today. It's a very clean and simple card, but I love making die cut scenes that really have that pop added to them, and the little sleeping troll needed a little forest as well on this card. But that finishes off this card for today. I'm going to leave you guys with a few pictures. On the left side of your screen, you'll see a few different links you can click on. The top will take you to a video of mine you might enjoy watching next. The bottom left will take you to my blog, where you'll find the supply list for this card and more information. And the bottom right will subscribe you to my channel if you aren't already. Thanks for watching today, and happy crafting!